The sun is already high. The grass barely moves. And somewhere in the Serengeti, a lion is lying on his side in the shade of an acacia tree. His eyes are half closed. His breathing is slow. His tail flicks once, lazily, at nothing. If you drove past him right now, you would probably think, typical, a lion doing what lions do, sleeping the day away, being magnificent and useless. Most people do think that, and most people are completely wrong. Because what looks like nothing is actually a system. A set of decisions, calculations, and communications happening so quietly that the average human eye slides right past them. Welcome back to African Wild Mind. If you are new here, subscribe now, because this is the kind of content we make. Not facts about animals, the hidden truth of how they actually live. Today we are going inside one full day in the life of a lion. Not the version you see in highlight reels. The real version, the one that will change the way you look at every lion photograph you have ever seen. Stay until the end, because the final thing we cover is the part that almost no one talks about, and it is the part that will stay with you. It begins before sunrise, long before the sky turns pink over the Masai Mara, before the first birds call, before the red dust has warmed enough to carry a scent. A lion is already awake, not moving, not hunting, just awake, lying in the dark with his eyes open. If you were there, you would hear almost nothing. Maybe the distant whoop of a spotted hyena, maybe the dry creak of a branch settling in the cool air. And the lion, still as stone, is listening to all of it. This is the first thing most people misunderstand about lions. They are not lazy animals who occasionally become dangerous. They are precision instruments running on a very specific kind of economy. Energy is the currency of the African wilderness. Every movement costs something. Every hour of rest is an investment. And the lion lying in the pre-dawn dark is not wasting time. He is gathering information. His ears rotate slowly, independently, like small satellite dishes. A sound from the north, a sound from the east. The direction of the hyena call, the silence where the impala were grazing an hour ago. He is building a map, not a physical map. A map of risk, opportunity, and movement. And he is doing it without moving a single muscle. Field researchers working across the Serengeti ecosystem have noted that lions spend the hours around dawn in a state that is not quite sleep and not quite alert wakefulness. It is something between the two, a kind of low-power monitoring. The body resting while the senses stay open. By the time the sky begins to lighten, the lion already knows more about the landscape around him than you would learn in an hour of walking through it. That is not rest. That is reconnaissance. When the light comes, something shifts. Not dramatically. The lion does not leap to his feet. He lifts his head. He holds it there. He looks east, and then he looks at the rest of his pride. This is where the social intelligence of lions becomes visible, if you know what to look for. A lion pride is not a random group of animals sharing a territory. It is a functioning social unit with a memory, a hierarchy, and a set of relationships that have been built over years. The females in a pride are almost always related. Sisters, mothers, daughters, aunts. They have grown up together. They know each other's hunting styles, temperaments, and tendencies. They know who panics early, who holds the line, who reads the wind correctly. When the lion lifts his head and looks at the females resting nearby, he is not just looking, he is reading the mood of the group. Are they restless? Are they watching something he has not seen yet? Is one of them already oriented in a particular direction? Lions communicate constantly through posture, gaze, and position. A female lying with her chin on the ground is not the same as a female lying with her head raised. A tail held low is not the same as a tail that flicks with short, sharp movements. These are not random body positions. They are signals. And every adult lion in that pride is reading them all the time without making a sound. If you were sitting in a Land Cruiser 20 meters away, you would probably see a group of lions lying in the grass. What you would actually be watching is a conversation. By mid-morning, the heat has arrived. Not gradually, suddenly. The kind of heat that presses down on the Serengeti like a physical weight. The kind that makes the air above the grass shimmer and bend. And the lion has moved, not far, maybe 200 meters, to a slightly deeper patch of shade. This movement, which looks like pure laziness, is actually a thermal management decision. A lion's body generates enormous heat. A large male can weigh over 200 kilograms. Moving that mass through African midday heat costs more energy than most people realize. So lions do not move through the heat of the day unless they have to. They find shade. They orient their bodies to minimize sun exposure. They breathe slowly. They let the temperature of the ground beneath them regulate their body temperature from below. This is not laziness. This is physics. This is a body that has been shaped by millions of years of African heat into something that knows exactly how to survive it. But here is what most people miss. Even in that deep midday stillness, the lion is not offline. His nose is working. The savanna carries scent in layers. Ground-level scent, mid-air scent, high scent carried on the thermals rising from the hot earth. A lion lying flat in the shade, eyes half closed, is still processing a continuous stream of olfactory information. The direction of a herd, the presence of a competitor, the faint trace of something that passed through the territory in the last few hours. What looks like sleep is actually a kind of passive surveillance. The world is sending information. The lion is receiving it. In the early afternoon, something changes. It is subtle. A shift in the quality of the light. The heat beginning, barely, to ease. And the lion's behavior changes with it. He rolls onto his sternum. He yawns, showing the full architecture of his jaw. He looks around the pride. And then, something that most tourists never get to see, he begins to groom, not himself, another lion. A younger male, probably a brother or a coalition partner, moves close. They press their heads together. They lick each other's faces, necks, the places that are impossible to reach alone. This is not just hygiene. Long-term studies of lion social behavior have shown that grooming between lions is directly connected to a lion's strength. Lions who groom each other more frequently are more likely to cooperate during hunts, defend territory together, and support each other in confrontations with rival males. The grooming is a bond maintenance system. It is the pride saying, without words, we are still aligned. We still trust each other. We are still a unit. If you watch this moment without knowing what it meant, you might think it was sweet, a little touching maybe. But what you would actually be watching is two animals reinforcing the social contract that keeps them both alive. Because in the African wilderness, a lion alone is a lion in danger. The pride is not just company. The pride is survival infrastructure. By late afternoon, the energy in the pride has changed again. You can feel it before you can explain it. The females are sitting up. Their ears are forward. One of them is oriented toward a low ridge to the north. The male is watching her. Not leading. Watching. This is one of the most important things to understand about how a lion pride actually functions. The females hunt. The females make the tactical decisions. The females read the landscape and choose the moment. The male's role in a hunt is not what most people imagine. He is not the general. He is often not the most efficient hunter in that moment. His mane, which makes him visible from a great distance, is a disadvantage in an ambush. His size, which is his greatest asset in a fight, makes him slower than the females over short distances. So, the females move. They spread out. They use the terrain. One drops low into a dry riverbed. One circles wide to the east. One holds position, watching. They are not following a plan they discussed. They are executing a strategy that has been refined through years of hunting together. Each female knows her role because she has played it hundreds of times before. The hunt itself may last only a few seconds, or it may fail entirely. Most hunts do fail. Field observations across multiple study sites suggest that lions succeed in roughly 1 in 4 or 5 attempts under typical conditions. But the failure is not random. Each failed hunt is information. The angle was wrong. The wind shifted. The prey turned at the last moment. The pride adjusts. They try again tomorrow with a slightly different approach. This is not instinct running on autopilot. This is learning. This is a group of animals that remembers, adapts, and improves. After a successful hunt, the pride feeds. And this is where the social hierarchy of lions becomes completely visible. The male eats first, not because he hunted, not because he earned it, but because his size and his role in territory defense give him social priority. The females wait, the cubs wait, and the order in which they approach the kill is not random. It reflects rank, relationship, and history. A dominant female moves in before a subordinate one. A cub that belongs to a high-ranking female gets closer than a cub from a lower-ranking mother. The whole feeding event is a live display of the pride's internal structure. Researchers studying lion social dynamics have noted that these feeding hierarchies remain remarkably stable over time. The same animals tend to feed in roughly the same order, year after year. It is a system, not a fight, not chaos. A system that everyone in the pride understands and operates within. Because fighting over every meal would cost energy, cause injuries, and weaken the group. The hierarchy exists, so the group does not have to fight. The order is the peace. And now we reach the part that almost no one talks about. The part that, once you understand it, changes everything. It is dark now. The fire in your camp is burning low. The canvas of your tent moves slightly in the night wind. And somewhere out there, in the dark that your flashlight cannot reach, the male lion is walking, not hunting, not following the pride, walking the boundary of his territory, alone. This is called a territorial patrol, and it is one of the most important things a lion does. But it is almost never filmed because it happens in total darkness, over distances that can cover many kilometers in a single night. GPS collar data collected from lions across multiple African ecosystems has shown that male lions regularly patrol the edges of their territories in the hours between midnight and dawn. They move along specific routes. They stop at specific locations. They spray urine on grass clumps, on low branches, on the edges of paths. They rub their faces against the ground, leaving scent from glands near their cheeks and chin. They roar, not randomly, at specific points along the boundary, at locations where their territory meets another pride's territory, at places where rival males have been detected before. The roar of a lion carries across the savanna for miles. But it is not just a sound, it is a document. It says, I am here. I am healthy. I am present. This territory is occupied. And the rival male, 2 miles away in the dark, hears it. He reads it. He makes a decision about whether to press forward or retreat. The roar is not aggression. It is information. It is a boundary marker written in sound. And here is the part that stops most people cold. Lions remember roars. Field research has shown that lions can distinguish the roars of specific individuals. They can tell whether the roaring animal is familiar or a stranger, whether it is a male they have encountered before, whether it is a coalition of 2 or 3 males, based on the acoustic pattern of the calls. A single male roaring alone sounds different from 2 males roaring in sequence. And a pride that hears a coalition of unfamiliar males at their border responds differently than a pride that hears a single known rival. They are not just hearing a sound, they are identifying a specific animal, assessing its strength, calculating the risk, deciding whether to respond, to move, or to hold position. All of this is happening in the dark, in silence that you would mistake for emptiness. If you heard a lion roar from inside your tent at 3 in the morning, your body would respond with pure fear. And that fear would be correct. But what you would not know, lying there with your heart pounding, is that the roar was not aimed at you. It was aimed at another lion, miles away. It was a conversation, a negotiation, a carefully placed piece of information in a communication system that has been running across the African savanna for longer than our species has existed. The darkness is not empty. It is full of decisions. The sun rises again over the Serengeti. The same acacia tree, the same patch of shade. The lion is lying on his side. His eyes are half closed. His tail flicks once. But you are not the same person who drove past him yesterday, because now you know that the stillness is not stillness. It is monitoring. The yawn is not boredom. It is a reset between states of awareness. The grooming is not affection. It is the maintenance of a survival alliance. The roar you heard in the dark was not a threat. It was a boundary document, written in sound, read by a rival 2 miles away who made a decision based on it. The female who moved first toward the ridge was not following orders. She was executing a strategy built from years of shared memory. The order at the kill was not chaos. It was a social contract that keeps the whole group functional. Every moment of that lion's day, the parts that looked like nothing, the lying still, the slow breathing, the half-closed eyes, every single moment was part of a system. A system so well designed, so quietly efficient, that it is almost invisible to the human eye. That is what the wild actually is. Not random, not brutal, not simple. It is a world running on rules that most of us were never taught to read. And the lion lying in the shade, the one you almost drove past without stopping, is one of the most sophisticated animals on this planet. He was just waiting for you to understand that. If you have ever heard a lion roar at night and felt that sound move through your chest before you understood what it was, tell me about it in the comments. Because that moment, that split second before your mind caught up with your body, is the closest most of us will ever get to understanding what it actually feels like to live inside the world this lion inhabits every single day. Thank you for watching. If this story made the wild feel a little less silent, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share it with someone who loves animals, nature, and the hidden side of the wild. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Links are in the description. There, we'll share short wildlife stories, strange animal facts, visual moments from the wild, and updates when new episodes are released. Until the next one, keep watching closely. The wild is always saying more than it seems.